Welcome to Mimir Library, where timeless stories find their voice. This is Chapter 12 of Waves Between Us by Amir Honarmand. Enjoy.
Alara woke to the sound of waves and the weight of Liam's arm draped across her waist, his presence both a comfort and a countdown. Morning light filtered through the gauzy curtains, painting the wooden walls with soft gold. She blinked slowly, orienting herself in the unfamiliar space. The bungalow smelled of sea air and pine, mingled with traces of their lovemaking and the faint scent of lavender from the sachets tucked beneath the pillows. Liam slept beside her, one arm curled protectively around her middle, the other stretched above his head. His face was softened in sleep, all the lines of thought and travel smoothed away. His chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm that she found herself matching without thinking. She studied him in this unguarded moment, the fan of his eyelashes against his cheeks, the slight parting of his lips, the way his hair fell across his forehead. There was peace in this quiet observation, in the warm weight of his body against hers. And then, like the inevitable tide, the ache began to swell. 3 days left. The knowledge pressed against her ribs, stealing some of the sweetness from the moment. Carefully, she turned to face him fully. The sheet slipped down, exposing the curve of his shoulder. She traced it with a fingertip, remembering how his skin had tasted beneath her lips the night before, how he had touched her, not like someone passing through, but like someone memorizing every inch of her. His eyelids fluttered, then opened. For a moment, he looked disoriented. Then his gaze focused on her face, and a slow, vulnerable smile spread across his lips. "Still here," he murmured, voice rough with sleep. "Me too," she whispered back. They lay like that, legs tangled beneath the sheets, faces inches apart. The world outside, the cafe, his departure, all of it seemed distant and unimportant compared to the reality of his skin against hers. He leaned forward, pressing a lazy kiss to her lips. There was no urgency now, just a warm affection that made her heart twist painfully in her chest. Liam shifted, burying his face in the curve of my neck. His breath was warm against my collarbone, his stubble a pleasant scratch against my sensitive skin. I ran my fingers through his hair, feeling its softness, the slight dampness at his temples. The wooden beams above creaked gently, and somewhere outside, a seabird called to its mate. I was fully aware of the pleasant ache in my thighs, the slight tenderness of my lips, physical reminders of our night together that would fade all too soon. "Your heart's racing," he mumbled against my skin, his hand coming to rest just below my breast. "Just thinking," I replied, not trusting myself to say more. He pulled back enough to look at me, his blue eyes serious now, searching. "Regrets?" "No," I said without hesitation. And it was true. I didn't regret a moment. What I feared wasn't what they'd done, but what came next, the inevitable parting, the return to separate lives. But I couldn't bring myself to voice these thoughts, not now, with morning light spilling across their tangled bodies and his warmth still enveloping me. This moment was too precious to taint with tomorrow's sorrows. Alara wrapped Liam's wrinkled linen shirt around herself and stepped onto the bungalow's small patio. Morning dew dampened her bare feet as she padded across the cool tiles. The Mediterranean stretched beyond the fig trees, a vast blue canvas painted with early light. Liam hunched over a small copper seize on a portable burner, his brow furrowed in concentration. He wore only his shorts, his back golden in the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves above. "What are you doing?"
Alara wrapped Liam's wrinkled linen shirt around herself and stepped onto the bungalow's small patio. Morning dew dampened her bare feet as she padded across the cool tiles. The Mediterranean stretched beyond the fig trees, a vast blue canvas painted with early light. Liam hunched over a small copper chesve on a portable burner, his brow furrowed in concentration. He wore only his shorts, his back golden in the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves above. "What are you doing?" she asked, leaning against the doorframe. "Making you proper Turkish coffee." He glanced up with a boyish grin. "Or trying to." The coffee chose that moment to bubble up violently, foaming over the rim and hissing onto the burner. Liam jumped back with a curse that made Alara burst into laughter. "Here, let me." She crossed to him, still laughing, and gently took the chesve from his hands. "You have to watch it more carefully. It's temperamental." "Like its maker," he murmured, his hands finding her waist as she worked. His lips brushed the curve where her neck met her shoulder, and she felt the smile against her skin. The coffee bubbled again, but this time she was ready, lifting it from the heat at precisely the right moment. "There," she said, pouring the rich, dark liquid into 2 small ceramic cups. "Salvation." They settled into the rickety wooden chairs side by side, their knees touching. A lizard skittered through the underbrush nearby, the only sound besides their breathing and the distant waves. "Your cup is cracked," Liam observed, tapping the fine line running down the side of her coffee cup. "Still holds coffee," she replied, taking a sip. The familiar bitterness spread across her tongue, grounding her in the moment. They fell into comfortable silence. A pair of sparrows hopped along the patio's edge, bold in their morning hunger. "The sun came up so early," Alara said, watching light play through the leaves above them. "It was eager to see you." His thumb traced circles on her knee. She smiled, but it faded quickly. "I'm glad we stayed here." "Me too." His eyes held hers, unguarded and warm. A beat passed between them, heavy with everything unsaid. "But we can't stay here forever, can we?" The words slipped out, quiet but clear. Liam sighed, his hand finding hers across the space between their chairs, his fingers intertwined with hers, warm and solid. "No," he admitted, "but I think this morning might last longer than it looks." She squeezed his hand, understanding what he meant. Some moments stretched beyond their boundaries, becoming part of you. This imperfect coffee, his oversized shirt against her skin, the warmth of his hand in hers, these would remain when other memories faded. The brightness of morning had mellowed into the golden warmth of late day. Alara folded her sundress with careful hands, smoothing the wrinkles before tucking it into her bag. The fabric still held the scent of yesterday's heat and happiness, a perfume she couldn't bottle. Across the room, Liam moved with efficiency of someone accustomed to temporary dwellings. His camera equipment disappeared into padded cases. His few clothes found their designated pockets in his weathered backpack. "I think this is yours," he said, holding up her silver necklace that had somehow migrated to his side of the bed. She touched her bare throat, surprised to find it missing. "I didn't even notice." She fastened it around her neck, the familiar weight settling against her skin. The bed dominated the small space, sheets twisted and bunched, pillows bearing the hollow impressions of their heads. Evidence of their night together, of whispered confessions and skin against skin. Neither of them moved to straighten it. "I'll take these out to the car," Liam said, hoisting his backpack and camera bag. The floorboards creaked beneath his steps, the sound somehow louder in the daylight. The door clicked shut behind him, and Alara found herself alone in the aftermath of their intimacy. Sunlight streamed through the gauzy curtain, catching dust motes that danced in the still air. She crossed to the window, running her fingers along the threadbare fabric. Outside, Liam was arranging our bags in the trunk, his movements unhurried but purposeful. She turned back to the room. Their temporary sanctuary looked different now, the magic of night replaced by the honest light of day. The wooden walls that had seemed to glow with warmth last night
now revealed their age, the varnish worn thin in places. The mattress that had cradled our bodies sagged slightly in the middle. Yet there was beauty in its imperfection, in its realness. Her gaze settled on the small wooden table where the room key lay, its brass surface dulled by countless hands before theirs. I said one is enough, she thought, remembering her resolve to guard her heart. But I didn't know how much that one would mean. She picked up the key, feeling its weight in her palm. The metal warmed against her skin as she closed her fingers around it. For a fleeting moment, she imagined keeping it, a tangible reminder of what they'd shared, something to hold when he was gone. But that wasn't what this night had been about. Gently, she placed the key back on the table. This place wasn't theirs to keep. It had sheltered them for a night, held their secrets and their laughter, their vulnerability and desire, and now they would leave it behind for others to fill with their own stories. The old pine floors released their scent as she crossed the room, a woody perfume mingling with the lingering traces of Liam's cologne. She ran her hand across the pillow where her hair had left its mark, the cotton still holding the ghost of her presence. Outside, the car door slammed. Alara shouldered her bag and took a last look at the rumpled bed, the sunlit dust, and the key on the table. Then she stepped outside, closing the door on what had been, but carrying the memory with her.
The story ends here, but the library is always open. Subscribe for more free audiobooks.